Hey everybody, 8-Bit Josh here, and welcome back to Planet Zoo and Wildlife World. And we are on episode 15, and this is part 2 of the Education Center building that we are making here. If you watched the last episode, that was episode 14, it was part 1, and we worked on the interior of the Education Center. And if you haven't seen that yet, highly recommend checking out that video if you want to see kind of how the interior of the building was built and designed. That episode is entirely a time lapse. It's a bit different than my normal kind of time lapse followed by like real-time gameplay. And that's because I was saying like this build was so big that it took 2 episodes to get it done. So the first episode, or the first part I guess, was the interior, and now we're doing the exterior of the building. And what we're working on here is, so I made the entrance area, and it's a little bit of a kind of a different design. It's got, like, you see the ramp on one side, and then you got the steps on the other side that are kind of at an odd angle. And I did this for a few reasons, mostly just because I wanted it to look a little bit different and a little bit unique. I liked also how the building is raised up a little bit from the main path, so you have like the ramp and the steps that go up to it. And I just thought like the kind of different levels there would just more interesting to look at rather than just kind of having everything be flat. And I don't know, it just seemed a little bit more, I guess, kind of like modern, trying to make it feel a little bit more like something you'd see in the real world, which I try to do that anyway. But I was kind of talking about this in the last video, like, you know, I don't consider myself like the best at building, like designing and making buildings, and you know, like Planet Zoo, Planet Coaster. I don't study buildings in like the real world and kind of look at them and be like, oh, I could kind of make that in like Planet Zoo or Planet Coaster. Got a pretty awesome comment from someone studying architecture, and they were like, hey, your buildings are actually pretty cool. And so that was kind of cool. But yeah, so like I said, we're doing the exterior of the building here, and it's really just placing a whole lot of plants and just trying to make it look like, you know, just really pretty and attractive, and make you like look at it and go, oh, that building is super cool, I want to go in there. So hopefully that's how people feel. But it was a lot of work, and there's actually, well, you can see I'm building it here. I'm doing like a little, you know, kind of like little outside seating area, and I wanted also like a nice little water feature to go along with it, and we'll see more of that in the real-time gameplay. I did quite a bit of building outside of like recording as well, because like I said, this building was massive. There's so much detail to it. I kind of just hunkered down and did a lot of the stuff while I was not recording, just because I wanted to keep the time lapse not too crazy long, and then the real-time gameplay not too crazy long either. Trying to keep in, you know, I kind of have like an average video length. I like to keep my videos, so in an effort to kind of keep with that consistency, there was a fair amount of stuff done outside of the recording. But yeah, so here just like placing some fences, kind of trying to make it, you know, seem like a little bit more like it would be like safe in the real world. You'd have some railings and stuff to hold on to, but also again, just the little extra details like that, like in my opinion, really, really bring the realism into the game, because I feel like that's the kind of stuff you'd see in real life. And you saw, like, I just added like a little elephant statue, trying to, you know, kind of show you like, hey, this is like an animal education center. And then there you can kind of see like, you can see how the paths are laid out a little bit more. And then I'm just kind of going along and, you know, lining the paths with the mulch, because I talked about this in the last episode. Like, the mulch is such a cool little scenery piece that, like, I love that they added that to the game, and it's a lot of fun to use and like make like little kind of like little flower displays and things like that. And yeah, like I said, I really like the mulch pieces. And of course, you know me, I love rocks too. Always got to be placing lots of rocks. They're also good for like if you have kind of an awkward shaped path and you have like weird spaces in it. Rocks are good for covering up those weird little spaces. So the other thing we're going to do once we jump into real-time gameplay here in about a minute, we're also going to take a look at the gigantic safari habitat we've been working on our live streams, which, you know, I always like to plug my Twitch channel in these videos. Every weekend, streaming over on my Twitch channel. We're almost always playing Planet Zoo, so make sure you go give me a follow. Link is down in the description, and yeah, so you can watch us do it in real time. But the safari habitat is huge. It's got multiple animals. It's got a safari jeep ride. It's got tunnels. It's super cool. And then here is just like a little kind of pavilion cover area for the seating area. We'll put some picnic benches and stuff down in there. But yeah, this is pretty much going to do it for the time lapse. So let's get into the real-time gameplay. Alright, and here we are, and here is the completed education center. And oh cool, we actually have some people going up there, which is cool. But yeah, so here is the completed exterior and the education center, and I think it turned out really, really cool. One of my favorite things about this is in the front part of the building is how it's all glass all the way through. So you can see like through the other side, you can see on the inside. And if you go in, and they're like, oh yeah, they're going to get some ice cream. So you can see we have like, these guys don't look like they have any power. Or maybe I just didn't select an education thing for them. But let's actually go ahead and do that now. Oh yeah, they just don't have any power. Alright, well, we can deal with that later. So this is the interior, and you know, we didn't get much of a look at it in the last episode just because it was entirely a time lapse. So you can see here, like the guests walk in, they have all kinds of education boards everywhere. We got lots of plants. We have a cosmic cow, so you can get your little, get a little ice cream treat while you're getting your education on. And then over here we have like a little kids area, and I thought this would be cool. It'd be like kind of like one of those little pools where, you know, you'd have like the zookeeper back here, and he'd have like different animals, and he'd be talking about, you know, how they, you know, their diets and where they live and things like that. There's a little screen here, so maybe they would display like the animal that they're talking about, and we have like a little mat, you know, maybe the kids will sit here while they're learning or whatever. But I just thought it would be really cool. It's, you know, it's one of those things where it's not really functional in the game, but to add that touch of realism, I thought it'd be cool to have a little kids zone, kids with a Z. So if we head back out, and you can actually, there are two exits, so there's the front and the back. We can actually, let's go out the back. So we got some nice little flowers along the path here. And then here's the little seating area I was talking about during the time lapse. So, you know, if you get your ice cream and you've already kind of read up on all the boards, you want to come out here and sit and enjoy your ice cream. We've got like a nice little pond over here as well. So it seemed like it'd be very serene and relaxing, in my opinion. Someplace you'd really want to like kind of come out and just hang out for a little bit. And then you can just kind of walk back around, and then you're back to the front of the building. I tell you what, it's a lot quicker to show the building than it took to actually build it. This was probably 6 hours, like the interior and exterior, probably about 6 total hours of building. Like I said, it's a big building. It's not like an extremely large building, but there's tons and tons of detailing, and that's really what takes the most amount of time. And then if we want, we can also take a look at it at nighttime, because as always, I always pay extra special care to the lighting because I think it's incredibly important, especially when the developers put so much time and care into the lighting system. And again, one thing that I really like about it too is, especially at nighttime, is how you can see inside. It's really lit up, and it's meant to be like inviting and be like, hey, let's go check that out. And it looks cool. I love the glass walls in this game, so I think it looks cool being able to look through it. And then if you're inside, trying not to be too jerky with the camera here, but like you can kind of see outside a little bit, and it's just really nice. Like I always feel like if I'm not putting as much work into the lighting as I can, I'm doing the game a disservice because it just looks so good at nighttime. And then the little seating area is nice and lit up. Yeah, so like I said, showing the building is a lot quicker than actually building it, but I think it looks really cool. I hope you guys dig it. I think it's a fun addition to our African area, and just to kind of give you more of an idea of where we are in our zoo. So we have our hippo habitat over here, and that's sort of like just inside the African area. So our Congo tropical area is over here. We have our hippos, we have our education center, and then here finally, this is a first look on the channel at our massive safari habitat. And this building here, obviously not complete, but you can kind of see where we're going with it. We do have the safari Jeep ride. This part, obviously not completed either. It's not themed out or built or anything. But this is where you go into the Jeep, and you got a little tunnel, and you come out here, and whoop. And the camera doesn't work well with you. And then you pop out, and then here is just our massive safari habitat. So we have some zebras, we have wildebeests, we have springboks, and we have giraffes. And the coolest thing about this too is how like they really herd together. Like the 3 giraffes, like they pretty much stay together most of the time. They rarely are apart for very long. Same with the zebras and the other animals as well. Like the herding thing that they added to the game is so cool. It just adds that extra touch of realism. So there you can see the Jeep going by, and so it starts off over here. It has like a nice little kind of bridge here. I wanted to detail the bridge to make it look a little bit more themed and not really just like the default track bridge, I guess. So it comes over, we have a bunch of water features. This one's a little bit more of like a shallow water. We head out over here, and oh, here comes the nice giraffe. I love how they will actually like walk over the track and everything. And then here we have like a really cool like little tunnel, and this arch is cool because the animals actually walk across it, and that's what I wanted. I wanted that sort of interactivity with the ride. Plus I like having different levels, and I don't want everything to just be flat. So having this little extra touch of interactivity, I think just really helps brings everything together. And oh, there's a little springbok there. But then we have like a little enrichment item right here, like nice and close to the track. We have another water feature up here with another custom waterfall. And I think that turned out pretty cool too. I do love the waterfall effects. I say this a lot. I wish the water actually flowed. So like if you had water up here and you had water down here, if you just cut off like a thing, it would just automatically kind of start flowing over the edge. So it doesn't do that. You have to simulate it the best you can using the waterfall effects, but it still looks pretty good. I think it looks as real as you could make it. Another cool thing I think is pretty neat about this habitat is our little ravine here that sort of separates it from the guest area. So the barrier, I'm actually making use of the invisible barrier, and it actually mostly goes along where the grass is on the top here, connects to the gate, and then comes up here as well. And I did that so that guests would have a level viewing area of the habitat, and I think it looks pretty cool. It with the use of the long grass on each end, it sort of conceals the fact that there's a little ravine right there. But then it's also cool because you get a nice straight on view of the animals. There's no fences in your way. The animals can't escape because they can't traverse down this at all. And it just kind of helps give the guests, like I said, that straight on view. We are going to be building this building here. This is it's going to be a pretty big building as well. It's still got a lot of work. I think it's going to double as a shelter for our animals. So technically right now it is a shelter because it's covered. So this guy's coming in here. He's just relaxing. But I thought it'd be a perfect place to actually have the shelter right under the path, because then they're like completely just out of the view of the guests. And so we're gonna make it's gonna double as like a little kind of food court area. So we'll have some picnic benches out here, but then again, it's also a nice area where you get a nice raised up view of the habitat as well. Even though right now all the animals are over there. They probably just got fed, I'm guessing. Maybe. Or maybe they're just hanging out. We may get some other animals, or we may, are they mating? Oh, they're mating. Although I have contraceptives on because I'm trying to really control the population in this habitat. If we get additional animals of, each type, we'll probably just adopt them. Rather than having little babies, or I don't know. Maybe we'll let them breed. I don't know. The other thing I had to do, because this habitat is so big, it required its own staff center, which also needs themes. But I mean, if you look at this habitat right here, like it's massive. Like here's our Congo area. It's almost twice as big as the Congo area. Or here is the Arctic area. I mean, if you look, it's almost the same size. So it required its own staff center and its own keepers, mechanic, and vet, because it's that massive. It requires its own, it just needs its own staff. So whatever, other animals we end up adding in the African area, we're gonna have another staff center. We might actually even have 2 more staff centers, because we still have a lot of animals to add in our African area. And it's gonna be pretty cool. But yeah, so that's pretty much it, since like I said, the last episode was all time lapse. So since the episode before, we've done an awful lot of work. And I think it's coming along really, really well. I like how everything's looking. The African area is humming along. It's getting there. Another thing I'm not sure what I want to do is we have some space here between the path and the water. I'm not really entirely sure what I want to do with it. Right here we may not do anything. We may just put some like scenery and beautify it up a little bit. I wanted to put a building here, but I haven't decided exactly what I want to put there yet. And then same with over here, we need some stuff over here, but we may have another habitat, who knows. But yeah, so that's pretty much going to do it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the, kind of 2-part episodes of the Education Center, and I hope you guys are liking I love how it is running, like the our giant safari habitat here. I think it's pretty cool. Like I said, if you're ever interested in hanging out during a live stream, my Twitch link is always down in the description, and that's pretty much it for this episode. So be sure to leave your comments, suggestions, and feedback down below. I am 8-Bit Josh, and thanks for watching. See ya.